Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners, macabre murders, and captivating crimes from across the centuries, and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. And it's episode 220.
How marvellous.
How marvellous. How are you, Nick?
I'm very well.
Yes, are you?
Raring to go.
Raring to go.
Always.
Absolutely. Refreshed, full of wine we are.
Quite right, as things should be.
Yes. I have been away, but
have.
none of you would ever know it.
No, indeed. So organised we are.
We were so organised. We got everything done in advance. We hope we haven't been cancelled or anything since
Yes,
then.
potentially.
But yes.
Let's see how many listens this will get. None.
But anyway, you're well. That's good. Lovely.
Yes,
We're all
all of that.
refreshed and good. Any poisonings this week?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not, I don't
You're
know.
not so sure.
It's been a busy week.
Has it though?
There's been stuff to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you may be lying around in Portugal doing fuck all. Some of us got work to do.
I was trekking around Portugal, seeing the many sights,
Seeing the many sights, drinking the many wines,
drinking the many wines,
butchering the many crabs.
tackled a crab. Yeah, it happened.
Just on the street.
Yes.
It just came at you with a knife.
Famous for it down there in Lisbon Way. Yes.
All them famous for them mugger crabs they are.
Only me. They only targeted me for some reason. They were just a man. I was like, oh, you crab man, you. Oh, yeah. No, I managed to recover from that and all the eating and drinking.
Well done.
I did nothing but eat bread and stuff, but also climbed 7,000 hills. So it balanced out.
Quite right. Absolutely.
And I found a really cool church that's like the church from Soul Reaver, the video game.
Okay.
It's amazing
I
inside.
don't know what that is.
It was a game.
I assumed it was a game.
Yeah, it was a game. Yeah,
But
it was
yeah,
not an incident that happened in my life. No. The Church of Saint Dominic in Lisbon. Oh, if you're ever in Lisbon, go to it. It's stunning inside.
Sounds fab. Very exciting.
So I might have poisoned someone in there.
Who knows?
I wasn't sure what I was doing. Well,
you were drunk at the time. It's fine.
I was just drunk most of the holiday. Well, speaking of being drunk most of the time on holiday and crabs attacking you, I think it is time for us to thank our delicious Patreon subscribers.
Indeed we must. This week we must say thank you very much to Kelly Carter,
To Sharon.
to Dorothy Olive Fennell,
To Sarah Bone.
to Donna Taylor,
To Miss Shenanigan.
to Tio,
To Elwyn Austin White.
and to your friendly neighbourhood bartender, Virginia.
Hey!
Rah.
Hello. Oh, you delicious, sexy Patreon subscribers, you wonderful people. We had fun on Patreon this week. We had the return of a very special guest,
The darling Mr. Cloak.
the darling Mr. Cloak, and you all go mad for Mr. Cloak.
Who doesn't go mad for Mr. Cloak?
Who doesn't? This is a question for the ages. Tim took us through the story of the Bideford Witches.
Indeed.
Really interesting slice of history, which you would expect.
Very sad.
Very sad. Very sad. But Tim, our dear friend, historian, history teacher, always packs it in with such great detail. So those are wonderful episodes to listen to and enjoy. You can obviously listen to more of his stuff on YouTube. But if you are curious about what this Tim business is,
Who this Tim strange man?
of which we speak, or you want to know what the hell we're talking about when we refer to Patreon, please do consider joining us on patreon.com/The Poisoner's Cabinet, where for but $5 a month you will get extra episodes every single week, as well as a ream of bonus material. And for a higher tier, you'll also get gift packs sent to us. You get extra little behind-the-scenes snippets every week and a monthly episode. Oh, there's so much going on
So much going
Patreon.
on. It's a crazy place.
It's a crazy place. Well, Nick, are you ready? Drink cocktails and talk about poison.
Well, we probably should.
Or we could drink poison and talk about cocktails.
I haven't had a cocktail since last week. So.
No, I haven't. I have, except that I definitely have. I did nothing but test the cocktails of Lisbon. People got annoyed.
I can imagine.
I said, it's for a podcast. They go, is it though?
Is it?
No.
And also, get out of my kitchen.
It's like, please, I'll pay you. It's fine. You go with the first one?
Okay.
Hooray, hooray, hooray. It is Nick's story this week, and we can't possibly have a story without a cocktail in hand. As you know, dear listeners, every week we choose a secret ingredient that is inspired by the tale that we tell, and it will flavour our cocktail of the week. Nick,
Yes.
this week's secret ingredient is...
Timber.
Timber! It's going down. I'm yelling timber.
Exactly.
You better move. Love that song. Timber. Specifically timber.
Specifically timber.
Is not just wood.
Not just wood.
Not
Timber.
just wood. Timber.
Not just wood. Timber.
What's the difference?
I think timber is cutted down wood.
What? What? Cut it downward.
Yes.
Cut it downward.
Cut it downward.
Cut it downward. That sounds like a dance from the 1800s. Shall we do the cut it downward, everyone?
I think we should.
While cutting this tree.
A lot of axe action going on.
And swing and thrust and...
And soar and back and forth. It's great. It's a very good dance.
It's a very good dance. Well, there we go. Okay, so we're going to do a dance, but timber. Lovely. Okay, well, with timber as your inspiration, your ingredient, shavings and all, what have you come up with?
You're not going to like this.
Is it because it's very random and obscure?
Mainly because I'm going to butcher some French pronunciation.
Oh, okay, right. And I'm going to correct you badly.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to very confidently say something that is not right.
So we are having l'ancien de bois.
Ancien de bois.
Ancien de bois.
Okay, so something of the woods.
Yes.
What's the first word then?
L'ancien.
Spell?
L.
Apostrophe.
ANCIENNE.
The ancient of the woods.
Yes.
Ancien?
Yes. But indeed,
The
but the translation we're going for is a woody old fashioned.
Oh, right. Okay. A woody old fashioned.
Yep.
A woody. It's not that, though, is it? A woody old fashioned.
A woody old fashioned.
Okay, great. I love an old
Actually,
fashioned.
if you go to Paris, but you order l'ancien.
L'ancien. Oh, well, but is that ancient? So old.
Well,
I guess it's old fashioned.
So yes, ancient.
Oh,
So
I don't know
old
the word
fashioned.
for it.
So yes. So
Oh, an ancient old fashioned.
an ancient old fashioned. A
Of
woody,
the
a
woods.
woody old
An
fashioned.
ancient old wood. Okay.
There we go. We're having that.
Okay.
It sounded cool.
It does sound very cool. I'm primed for fairy
I
stories
wanted
now.
to make it.
Lovely, exciting, and enchanting. I think it is high time for us to hi-ho into the poisonous cabinet kitchen and shake up a storm. So we'll see you in a minute.
No.
No,
I mean, I think
not.
I think a hi-ho is...
It's to the mines, isn't it?
It's more miney, mountainy sort of thing.
Well, what do woodsmen say? What do woodsmen say?
I don't know.
Timber into the woods. What? They go soaring into... What do we do into the... What can we do into the woods?
Frolic.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
Scamper.
This was the line that you drew.
Absolutely.
I think it is high time for us to run frantically into the poisonous cabinet kitchen and shake up a storm. So we'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
So, Nick, the ancienty oldie woody
woody fashioned.
woody old fashioned.
Woody old fashioned. Ancien de bois.
Ancien de bois. Ah, beautiful. So it doesn't. It's a lot heartier than a normal old fashioned.
Yes.
So I always think an old fashioned has one bit of ice.
Yes, indeed.
Is quite low, but this is quite a hearty bout of booze. It seems.
Yes, this is many things.
Yeah, it's a big tumbler filled with ice and lots of lovely. It's a kind of almost a ruby color. Ooh. Now what? Ooh. What mysteries do you hold? Yes. Now what makes it a woody old fashioned? I don't know. Okay, well, let me smell. It smells more fruity than woody, I think. Yeah, no, I'd wager that's more fruity. I'm not getting a hugely woody scent. But my mind may be changed.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, well, let's dive in. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ooh. Hello. Ooh.
There's a lot going on there.
Oh, there's a lot going on there. I don't mind it.
No.
I like it. It's sweet. It's sweeter than I thought. Old-fashioned does have a sweetness to it.
It does.
A nice mouthfeel. Or maybe the sausage I just ate.
Yes, there is sausage as one of the ingredients. There is sausage.
Did
Yes.
you just throw a few mini sausages in
Yeah,
there?
just muddle them in there at the bottom.
I did just mainline like 2 mini sausages when he was making this. Probably shouldn't have. Probably should have prepared my palate.
Yes.
Okay,
Fine.
second sip. Sorry.
It's nice to know how
now
you
it's rinsed all
how you respect my cocktails.
Now it's rinsed all the meat out. Jesus. Okay, now that is very tasty.
I like that.
I like that a lot. So my recollection of an old fashioned, you've got bourbon generally, or is it rye?
It is. It's sort of. It's debated bourbon, rye. Some people say cognac.
Wow. Oh yes, I think we've talked about this before.
Like
we?
a Sazerac type thing.
Yes,
it is much debated upon.
And then you sort of muddle that maybe with some orange, and then they've got Angostura bitters in there, and a bit
You generally have your Peychauds.
Oh, Peychauds.
Yeah, so usually you would have like a brown. The traditional way is like a brown sugar cube,
yeah,
and you would douse that in your Peychauds or your Creole bitters till it gets nice soaked, and then you give that a good smashing and muddling, and then then it's just that with your rye or bourbon,
Yeah.
cognac or whatever, and just stir that together with a big chunk of ice. That is your traditional sort of old fashioned.
Oh, right. I thought you did muddle it with an orange a little bit because you often serve it with a slice of orange, and some people maybe that's a more recent thing.
There are 1,000 variations on
there
how
we go.
people make their old fashioned. So absolutely, that
Yeah.
is no doubt a variant.
But this is bigger and ballsier.
This is bigger and more things.
Woody. So is this bourbon?
No.
It's not.
No.
Oh, it's not rum.
Nope.
Cognac.
Yes.
Oh, it is cognac.
This is cognac.
Oh, okay. And is there maple syrup in it? Because you had a bottle mysteriously delivered to your office today, and I saw it happen.
Maybe.
Maybe. Unless you want some on your pancakes.
Maybe there is a tad, a drop of maple syrup.
There's a good addition, though.
Yeah?
Mapley syrupy.
Mapley
Goodness.
syrupy.
What else? Is there something twiggy in there? No? Amaro-y or
No.
vermouthy?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there
one
we
of
go.
those.
I knew. Leafy. Flowery. Fruity.
You were right in the fruity.
Fruit. Okay, so I am right in the fruity.
There's a fruity thing going on.
But a fruit sometimes grows on twigs.
Yes, it does. This is true.
Okay, maraschino.
Yes,
Adjacent.
but not as you would think.
Oh, okay. So
There is
something
no-
cherry.
There is no maraschino liqueur in there.
But there's some cherries.
There are maraschino cherries
That's why I love this. Okay. Oh, so just the cherries in
Just the
Oh,
cherries.
you've muddled it.
that have been squished.
Right, that's the colour. Oh.
Yep, so there's no maraschino liqueur. It's just, the cherries squished.
Sweet. Anything else?
So one more thing.
One more thing. A booze thing?
Yes.
Oh, and a booze thing. Oh, bitters in there as well?
There are some bitters in there. as
So
well.
which the pechos?
Yes, some pechos.
Oh,
Indeed,
okay.
yeah. One more thing you might get. Again, it's one of those things I never know. It's because I know it's in there. I can smell it.
Oh, okay.
Or if I didn't know it was in there, I probably have no clue
Oh,
that it was
God.
there.
I'm trying to go, yes. Fuck off, I don't-
Okay, no, fair enough. There is a walnut.
the walnut liqueur.
The walnut liqueur in there as well.
Oh, you found another use for
Found-
that.
yes, indeed.
Yay! Okay, it does have a nutty.
Yeah, so it's
nutty.
got a bit of a nutty
Now
twang to
you've
it.
said it.
Now I said it.
Now
There it
you've
is.
said it. There
There
it
it
is.
is.
Well, that's a delight.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's quite a sweet one,
It is.
but it's not sickly sweet.
But not sweet. No, absolutely. No, I don't think that's. It is sweet, but I don't think it's unpleasantly sweet. I don't think it's overly sweet. And it's quite good. It's quite fun to make as well because you make it in the glass.
Oh, do you?
So it's like you so you have
Oh,
your
do I get cherry bits at the
yeah.
end?
So it goes cherry bits at the bottom.
Yay.
So yes, and the recipe is quite precise. Like when you add quantities of ice and things.
Ooh.
So we've got your cherries and your maple syrup and your bitters, and you give that all a good smush. And then you add a couple of cubes of ice, give it a stir. You add your cognac,
Yeah.
and a couple more cubes of ice, give that a good stir, and then
Yeah.
you add your walnut and some more ice and give that a good stir. So it sort of builds in layers.
That's good, and it pays off because it
And
is
it's really-
a nicely layered drink.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that whatever you've done has worked well.
It has. I like that.
Woohoo!
Hurrah!
Yay! Well, with the
L'ancien de bois.
L'ancien de bois. We got to stop saying it. De bois.
De
like
bois.
that. De bois. The woody,
The
old-fashioned,
woody old fashioned.
firmly in hand. Is it time for a story, Nick?
Yes.
Yay! Let us go into the woods. Into
Hurrah!
the woods to chop down stuff because
To
it's not
chop
just
down some
wood.
trees.
It's timber. Yeah, exactly. You've fucking thrown in woody old-fashioned in there, but timber.
Okay, a timbery old fashioned.
Okay, fine. It's what the lumberjacks drink
Exactly.
to celebrate the vanquishing of another tree. Yeah. There we go. All right. I'll vaguely accept it because this is a nice drink.
I'm glad to hear it.
Okay.
Because there's no other option. So this week, we are heading to the summer of 1896. And we start our story in Boston. Boston, Massachusetts.
Right.
'Cause I like saying Massachusetts. Don't know why I do that like that. But
I don't know. I've
but
never
it's
heard
fun-
you say
it's fun
that
to
before.
say. It's fun to say.
It is fun to say.
Yeah,
It's
indeed.
all right.
What's wrong with Massachusetts?
What's
Anyway.
wrong with you?
In the city's harbour, we have the three-masted cargo ship, the Herbert Fuller. Good name for a boat.
Herbert.
It
Yes.
is like the Herbert Fuller.
Yes.
The Herbert Fuller has just set sail with its cargo of timber,
Right.
bound for the Argentinian port of Rosario,
Oh, very nice.
many miles away.
That is famously, yes.
Now, the Herbert Fuller is captained by 42-year-old Charles Nash. And now he is an experienced sailor. He's also one of the owners of the ship, so he stands to make a hefty profit from this cargo and this journey. Now, he does have a bit of a reputation. He's a stern master of his vessel.
Sure.
He is strict. He's by the book. He suffers no fools. And if you step out of line, you're gonna know it. But as were many others,
Yes.
sort of sea captains at the time, so it wasn't that unusual. But he did have a bit of a reputation. For this particular journey, Captain Nash is joined on board by his wife Laura.
Oh, how nice.
A delightful little jaunt down the eastern seaboard to Argentina. Is that Argentina? They're coming from Massachusetts and going to Argentina.
That's what she called it.
Yes.
She's an idiot. She's not. Oh, we're going to Argentina.
Argentina,
yes,
darling.
Dear.
Yes.
Yes. Don't talk to her, please. It's been nothing but this all the way to the bloody ship. Argentina.
Now, Laura often sailed with him. She had no idea where she was going, but she often sailed with her captain husband. So,
Did she make her own hat out of paper? Right, lovely. Okay.
alongside the captain and his wife, you have also got first mate Thomas Bram, second mate August Blamberg, and then the steward, Jonathan Spencer, second, third, and fourth sort of in command, and then you have 6 sort of crewmen on the ship.
Nice.
There is a single passenger, a chap called Lester Hawthorne Monks.
Ooh,
And he
very nice.
completes sort of this ship's company of 12 for this sort of 7,000-mile journey.
Yeah.
It's a long way down to Argentina.
It is, yes.
It's a big old trek.
It's a big old trek.
Now, the crew are a bit of a random bunch. They had never worked with each other before. They had just sort of been at the port. I want to get work on the next boat.
Yeah.
And they've just been, there they are.
Signed up.
Yeah, signed up. So they may have met each other in passing at the pub or something like that, but yeah, they don't know each other. So they come from all over the world, and they come there to work long, hard hours for very little money.
Yeah.
Which sounds great.
Which is wonderfully rewarding,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So-
But travel.
You have Francis Loeck, who's French, Henry Slice from Germany, and Henrik Purdock, who is Dutch, and then Volker Wassen, Oscar Anderson, and Charlie Brown, whose actual real name is Justice Leopold Westerberg, who are all Swedish.
Oh, right, okay.
It's quite a multinational crew
Yeah.
they've got going on there.
Great names as well.
And fantastic names indeed.
Yeah.
Now, Lester Monks, who is our sole passenger on board, now he's quite a young chap, but he's from Boston society, a very well-to-do family.
Okay.
He had been enrolled at Harvard, but he had fallen ill and become quite poorly and been forced to drop out of his studies. So
Yeah.
after his recovery from his illness, his doctor had advised a period of rest, relaxation before he returned to Harvard to complete his education. So, using his sort of family connections,
Yeah.
he had booked passage on the Herbert Fuller down to Argentina.
You've got to stop saying
I've
it.
got to stop saying that.
Because I'm not sure whether you actually think that that's how it's pronounced now.
I think I might.
You
I
know,
might
it's
just-
that you get
I
stuck
might
in
just
your
be saying
head
it for the
to
rest,
be
of
like,
the rest of my
oh
life.
God, what's the real way of saying it?
Don't cry for me, Argentina!
The truth is, I cannot spell you.
So Lester Monks, he is there for rest and relaxation, and on this ship, all he can do is relax, read, unwind, and fully recuperate.
Oh God, bastard.
Delightful.
Yeah, lucky bastard.
Yeah, indeed. On the 13th of July, this is 10 days into the voyage, they had reached the waters around Bermuda. Really lovely.
Very lovely.
That evening is a very balmy evening. Captain Nash and his wife, they took a turn round their deck, arm in arm, having a wander, chatting about the day. They stopped to have a conversation with Lester, who's very content in his deck chair on the deck, there with a drink or something, admiring the sunset. It's all very lovely.
Yes,
and
covering himself in
idyllic.
lard. It's just like,
Everyone's having a grand old time.
how nice.
Indeed. Now, as a paying passenger, Lester had been given the choice of either dining alone in his cabin or dining with the captain. Give the captain his wife and the officers on board ship. Now, Lester is only too happy to join the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crew. Apparently, when he's not barking orders at people, he's delightful company.
Oh, okay,
he's
fair enough.
very, 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 very pleasant.
Well, I mean, it'd be a bit of a kick in the teeth. And it was like, oh, you're the sole passenger on. Would you like to dine with us? No, I'd rather eat in my room. Yes, I'm paying you, you know.
But I mean, apparently he and Laura, they're a fantastic company. And they sort of regale their guests of tales of their travels and adventures at sea. Sort of Leicester, meanwhile, sort of tells stories of Boston society, a bit of gossip about all that sort of thing.
That's good chat.
So they've got some good chat going on.
I bet the officers are all sitting there going, "Oh, these guys, honestly."
The three do get on like a house on fire. There's good company, there's good conversation. The food and wine's not too shabby either, because Captain Nash keeps a good sort of cellar on board ship.
It's sounding idyllic. Yeah,
it's sounding bloody marvellous.
I want to do this.
The only slight downside to their evenings is the presence of the first mate, Thomas Blount, and the second mate, August Blamberg. They're two very different men, two different types of men. Unfortunately, they don't add much to the merriment and the conversation of the of the evening, but in slightly different ways. Now, so my second mate, August Blamberg, now he's Finnish. He speaks very, very little English.
Okay.
He's excellent at his job, but he doesn't speak much conversational English.
Right.
So he struggles to join in a conversation. He also apparently he attacks each meal as if it was going to be his last. So whenever he's got food in front of him, he's like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah."
He's not waiting on decorum.
He's not waiting on decorum, no, and he's not waiting, to join in conversation and witticisms and tell anecdotes and things like that.
Shoveling food in.
He's just
going,
shoveling food in.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, fine. Let August be August. Do what he likes to do.
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, on the other hand, Thomas Blam, who is the first mate, he just doesn't shut up.
Oh, right.
He just doesn't shut up. And he makes the very most of the captain's very generous wine store as well. So he enjoys a drink, and he enjoys telling people he enjoys a drink. Now, he is there. He's either sucking up to the captain.
Okay.
Or he is quoting biblical verse at people. In a
God.
previous life, he had been a travelling preacher. And he takes every opportunity to interrupt people's conversations with what he thinks is a witty, religious sort of comment or barb or bit of scripture, which makes him feel desperately morally superior and smug, and just everyone else think, shut the fuck up.
Oh God!
He tells tales about his time ashore when he's not aboard ship. He works in sailors' missions in ports. He puts it himself, labouring in the vineyards of the soul.
Oh God! Oh, that's a bit ick.
So, which is rather ick.
That's not a bad turn of phrase, but he probably is so proud of that.
Oh yeah, I mean he's heard it somewhere. It's not his.
Labouring in the vineyards of the soul. Did you hear what I said? I said vineyards.
That was really good.
Of the soul. Yes, because wine.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
can I have some more? Now Lester finds Thomas unbearable. He calls him an insufferable bore, as well as over emotional, embarrassing, and obsequious. Of course, as a polite young man, he doesn't say any of this, and he tries to engage in conversation as much as he humanly can. Although awkward, inwardly he suspects the captain finds him equally as annoying and frustrating. But no, they are polite. They are cordial to each other, as one should be. Just after 8 o'clock that evening, they had finished dining, and Lester decides to turn in early for the night. The weather has started to turn, and the seas are picking up a bit. It's getting a bit rough. It's getting a bit windy. Not particularly nice out on deck. So right, I'm just going to call it a night, sleep through it. Off we go in the morning. Yeah. His cabin is at the rear of the ship, alongside the other senior officers. In the centre sits the saloon, where they dine and spend their off hours. On one side are two cabins, which are the first mate and the second mate. On the opposite side are the captain's cabin and his wife's cabin. Now, the captain has been very generous and actually given Lester Meeks his own cabin to stay in.
Okay, nice.
What is there? And the captain has moved into the chart room, which is like his office, and there's a little bunk in there.
Yeah.
So he's moved himself into there while they have this passenger on board.
He's knocking at his wife's door going, "Darling, I thought we could share." And she's like, "No.
No, I don't think. Into the chart room for you." Yeah. So, as I said, the weather is getting up. It's starting to get a bit blustery. To prevent the cabin door from rattling around, he decides to lock the door. Which is one of the very few occasions he actually locks the door. It's just to stop it rattling in its frame. He does that. He gets into his bunk and out. He falls into a deep, deep sleep. Several hours later, we think is around 2 a.m, he is woken from his sleep by a piercing scream. Now, unsure about what he's heard. Has he dreamt it? Has he heard it? Is it something falling over? Is it what's going on? I'm going to lie here for a bit and see what happens.
Always do that.
Yeah. I'm not going to jump out of bed and go and investigate. I shall lie here for a bit longer. But then he hears another noise. Ooh. This one is more of a sort of a gurgling cry. Oh, no. He hears. Now, Lester is now fully awake. I did not imagine that. That was not a dream.
Okay.
I need to go and... What the fuck is this going on?
Yeah.
He calls out for Captain Nash. There is no response. There's just silence. He pulls himself together. He gets out of his bunk. He takes his revolver, which was in his baggage. And so he's got his gun. He unlocks the door and he ventures out into the darkness of the saloon. He can't see anyone. But what he can see is the door to the captain's chart room is open and there is light from inside. A lamp is lit. He goes towards the chart room, calling out for Captain Nash. No answer, no answer. He peers inside and he sees where this gurgling has come from. Oh, no. Captain Nash is lying on the ground, blood spewing from multiple wounds around his head, around his throat. They're gasping, blood pouring everywhere. Lester goes to him, gets himself covered in blood. There's nothing to be done to save the man. But he's there going, who has done this? What's happened? The captain cannot say anything. Yeah. He leaves the room trying to go and get some help. He goes to try and get the captain's wife. He gets into the saloon, and as he approaches his wife's cabin, he says her door is open as well. So he thinks, okay, she must have gone on deck. She must have gone to try and find someone. So he's like, okay, fine, Laura's on deck. She's gone to find help or whatever. My husband has been killed. Help. He himself makes to go to deck, and he makes for the little stairwell that's taking him onto the deck. Yeah. As he approaches, he sees a figure standing at the top of the stairs on deck, facing away from him. And it's that of Thomas Barm, staring out onto the deck. Lester, from down below, he calls out to Thomas. And Thomas starts. Obviously not expecting to hear anything. He gets quite a shock, and he throws something down just in reflex response. He's had a shock, and he's this thing down the stairs towards him.
Is it the captain's wife?
It's described as a plank of wood.
Interesting.
That he's sort of holding this bit of timber, and he sort of gets a start from when he's called from below and sort of chucks it.
So is he guarding himself, or is he defending himself? Is it like a weapon?
Down the stairwell,
or just what's to hand?
Yeah, sort of Lester dodges out of the way of this flying missile coming towards him and yells, "Stop! It's me, Monks." Lester Monks. He then breaks the news to Thomas that Captain Nash has been attacked. He's close to death. The first mate refused to believe it. No. Absolutely. What are you talking about? You're talking nonsense. Come and see for yourself, he says. Come and see for yourself. Thomas walks down into the saloon. Rather than going to see the captain, both men decide to go to their own cabins first. Lester goes to get dressed. He's still in his night.
So he decides, he's nude.
I need to go and put on some trousers and a shirt. And Thomas goes to his cabin to pick up his own revolver as well.
Fair. Okay, that I can understand.
I can understand. They do that.
Safety in numbers, like, can I please put pants on?
Yeah, can I put some trousers on?
Yeah, I'm just here in this ball gown that I threw on.
So they then, the pair of them enter the chart room, and they see Captain Nash now dead on the floor, surrounded by blood. They race up onto the deck to get some air. Lester explains what has happened, how he was woken by this scream, how he found the captain there. He goes on to say that they need to find August Lambert, the second in charge, and alert the rest of the crew, sound the alarm. Hearing this, Thomas becomes frantic. He says, no. He tells Lester that they are in the middle of a mutiny.
Oh.
The crew has mutinied. The crew must have got downstairs and murdered the captain. He tells them August had gone to negotiate, to treat with the crew, and he had not returned. They must have got him as well. We need to stay here. We need to guard ourselves. We need to watch our backs. It's just us against everyone. Now, Thomas bursts into tears. He flings his arms around Lester, begging him to protect him from the wrath of the crew. He is convinced the crew hate him. Yes, he's in charge. He has had to punish and reprimand some of the crew, but he's absolutely convinced they're going to want his blood. That he has been such a ruthless sort of first mate that they're gonna come after him.
Oh, it's Thomas who starts crying.
Yeah, Thomas starts
Right,
crying
sorry.
and begging Lester, the passenger, to protect him from the wrath of the crew.
100% I'd be doing that. So if you're stuck at sea, I'd be like, I'm going to start crying now. Save me.
Yeah.
I know I didn't tell good stories at dinner. I'm sorry.
But also, as Thomas is sort of like hugging Lester,
Just saying, like, what can I do?
and Lester's going, "Oh, it's okay. Lester can. There's a lot of booze on your breath, mate. There's a lot of alcohol going on here. Your breath is flammable, so you're obviously absolutely blasted."
Thomas is not the person you want to put the money on. So Lester's probably just going, no.
Yeah,
I'm going to go and make peace with the crew.
He's
Maybe.
clearly been drinking. He then stops and he throws up all over the deck. And rather than admit that, yes, he'd had a drop or two that evening,
That they'd seen.
what he does is he says that August Blamberg earlier had come up from his cabin and brought him a drink. Brought him a drink up onto deck. Thomas was on watch. August came and said, "Must have been poisoned. The drink must have been poisoned. Yes, that was it. That's why I'm so sick.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's not that I'm drunk or my captain's just been murdered. I'm in shock. No, August must have given me a poisoned drink."
Absolutely. Yeah. How many of us have said that?
Only-
You know, when you're that drunk, you're like, I think I've been spiked.
I've been
spiked. Or like, I think that was a bad pint, that 16th one I had.
Yes,
Sorry,
that- No,
I
you're
just think I'm allergic.
You're just twatted, mate. Now, Lester is starting to feel increasingly uncomfortable around the babbling
Not
Thomas.
surprised. With this crying, vomiting man.
And he insists, okay, if we can't find August, then we need to go and find the next in seniority, the steward, Jonathan Spencer. We need to go and find him. He is a sensible, experienced sailor. He'll know what to do. We need to go and alert him.
But where's Laura? Where's Laura?
Laura has seemingly passed out of thought for the time being. Again, Thomas is adamant, no. They have to stay here. If they start going to go and search the ship, then that just leaves them vulnerable to attack from this mutinous crew if they start wandering around the boat sort of by themselves in the dark. So no, the two men spend the rest of the night on deck, sitting back to back, both with pistols drawn, absolutely terrified that this sort of murderous crew is going to leap out of the shadows at any moment.
I mean, it's not a bad plan, is it?
I mean, this attack never comes. Dawn approaches, and they are there. No mutinous sort of crew have assaulted them at all, and they're
covered in Thomas's sick.
Thomas. Lester again says, "We need to go and find the steward. We need to tell the steward what's happening."
Okay.
And this time,
Daylight. Yeah.
Thomas, slightly sobered up by now, he says, "Okay, fine," and rather reluctantly, he follows Lester to the front of the ship, where they find Jonathan. They find the steward. He's merrily going about his morning duties, completely oblivious to the fact that anything has happened, and he's just getting about his duties, and he welcomed, "Good morning, chaps." He's all very hearty and jolly until Lester sort of beckons him over and says, "Captain Nash is dead." And Jonathan's like, "Oh yeah, funny Boston jokes. Hey." "No, he's fucking dead. Come and have a look." So the two of them, they drag the steward down into the saloon and into the chart room, and absolutely, Captain Nash is lying there, all murdered.
He did.
He's dead. Now, so Jonathan, he has made a slightly sterner stuff than these other two, and he actually gets down and examines and tries and see what has happened.
Yeah.
And he sees that these deep, deep wounds in the captain's head, and also on the captain's hands.
Defense wounds?
Exactly. So it looks like he's been attacked. They suspect with something like an axe.
Jesus.
Or something, and the captain has held his hands up to try and ward off the blows. Some of his fingers are severed, and then the blows have rained down on his head, killing him
So you
outright.
say he was attacked by a woodsman after the timber.
After the timber.
Revenge
of the timber. So the three men then move out of the chart room, and then suddenly they think, "Where's Laura? Where's the
the
captain's
wifey?"
They go into Laura's cabin.
Oh God.
She is in her bunk,
No.
dead.
Oh God.
Again, vicious axe wounds to her head. There is blood streaked up the walls, on the ceiling, such as the violence of these blows. Shit. Close the door on that cabin.
Just backing out like, no.
Has anyone seen August? Anyone seen August recently? Haven't seen August for about 10 hours. No. They go across to August's cabins, open the door, dead. August lying on the floor, axe wounds, vicious attack. His head is practically severed, they say. As such has been the ferocity of this attack. Now, now Jonathan Spence, the steward, who was up to now, he's like, I can do this, I'm a sailor. He's going, Christ, what's going on?
He's like, trust me, boys, you're wetting yourself right now.
Now,
God.
3 of them, the captain, his wife, and the second mate, dead.
This is terrifying, Nick. This is like a proper... This is a novel. This is really tense. What's going on this ship?
There are 3 of them.
Else on the ship?
Who knows?
Is it a monster?
It's a monster.
It's a vampire.
Yes, there's a vampire in the hold.
With an axe. It's a werewolf with an axe. What's happening?
Yeah. Now, Lester sort of rounds on Thomas and begins demanding an explanation, because when Lester and Thomas had first had their conversation, he had said, no, August was upstairs, he gave me a drink, I saw him on deck.
Liar.
No, lies, he's dead. That's all bollocks. So what are you playing at, telling me you saw him on deck, that he gave you a drink, he poisoned your drink, and all this sort of stuff? Why, wasn't he fucking dead?
He did. He fully did.
So, Thomas sort of blubs in response and has no particular explanation about why, saying, yeah, I told the truth. Well, you didn't tell the truth, he's dead. And so...
Did he think did he give him a drink beforehand, or did he not? Or, like, I don't know. I'm going all Jessica Fletcher on this.
So Jonathan Spencer, he goes, no, we need to stick together. On this. Stop faffing around.
Stop slap fighting.
You two, stop slap fighting. Apparently we've got a mutiny on our hands that we need to go and...
let's find the rest of the crew.
Sort out. Let's go and find out the rest of the crew, right? We've got strength. There's 3 of us here. 2 of you have got revolvers. Yes. So we'll be okay.
Somebody quickly read Mutiny on the Bounty and find out how that turned out. Oh, not well.
Yeah. So they decide, okay, they need to go and try and speak with the crew, negotiate with the crew. Jonathan is very popular. He's been a very fair steward with the crew. He's very well liked. He's very well respected. If anyone can sort of calm them down or find out what they want, it's him. And okay, fine, I'll go and find out what's going on. We might be able to get out of this with our lives.
Yes.
I need a break.
Well, I do too. Jesus Christ. Nick, we have our drinks.
We do.
I made more of the stuff.
More of the stuff.
It wasn't the same way finesse that you did it. I just poured stuff into the glass because I'm compelled by this story. What's happening? And also, the good thing about this drink, I've gotten to the cherry now.
The cherry mush.
The cherry mush. So you will hear me compelled listening to the story, also while just clawing the cherry out of the bottom of the glass.
It's going to be very attractive.
It is. Hang on. You've got my wine.
Yep.
I did well. Yeah.
May I continue?
Yes, I think you should.
Okay. Right, so 3 murders aboard the Herbert Fuller now, and apparently a mutinous crew out for everyone's blood.
Allegedly. Well, they haven't shown up yet.
They haven't rocked up yet, no, indeed. So but they're out there somewhere, sneaking around, waiting to pounce.
But the thing is, this is what confused me, because I'm always like, how big is this ship? Because I'm like picturing a galley from the 1600s, but this is 1898, 99?
Yeah, this is 96, I think it is. 1896.
96, excuse me. So, I mean,
it's not massive, but it's a decent size. It's a cargo vessel, so it needs a lot of space for timber and things.
That's what I'm forgetting. It's not a pleasure cruise.
It's not a pleasure cruise, no, exactly. It's not a sailing boat at all.
Right,
it is a cargo vessel, so it's sizable, but not huge. We're not talking sort of ship of the line via HMS Victory type size.
No, but it's sizable. It's this time period for everyone. Probably 90% of you had this in your mind going, yes, that's what size it is. For the other 10% of you who are picturing something from Captain Blood, this is actually more reasonable.
So, there are plenty of places for people to hide.
Yes,
should
that's
they wish
my point.
To. Yeah, exactly. There are plenty especially amongst these piles of timber.
They're not just like over there.
No.
Right.
So we've got Lester Meeks, the passenger, Thomas Baum, the first officer, and the steward, Jonathan Spencer. They are there thinking, what the fuck are we going to do? They go up on deck to try and engage with the crew. to
Okay.
see if we can sort something out. As they walk down the length of the ship, they walk past one of these sort of stacks of timber, and Thomas calls out, "Look," he says, and he points, and there, nestled amongst these piles of wood, is a bloody axe lying on deck. He rushes to pick it up.
No, don't pick it up.
He
Don't pick it
rushes,
up.
he picks it up, saying, "This is how they were killed."
No, put it down.
He then turns to the other two and says, shall I throw it overboard?"
Whoa.
And before anyone can answer, he goes, "What?"
No.
And he drops it overboard.
Oh, now, come on now. All right, Thomas, that's it. No, sorry.
Now, yeah, Jonathan Spencer sort of cries out, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You've just thrown the murder weapon overboard. This is vital evidence."
Yes.
Now, Lester rips into Thomas again.
Yeah.
And, "What the fuck are you playing at? How can you be so stupid?" Thomas is soon crying
Again.
once more and begging for forgiveness, saying that he didn't want the mutinous crew to get hold of another weapon. He didn't want it to be used against them. So that's why he had to get rid of it.
I mean, I'm gonna suspend disbelief because your instinct is like, why are you getting rid of evidence, mate? But if he was of that temperament
He
that
is
we're thinking,
obviously
we're
petrified,
just frightened to
terrified.
get rid of the thing that's killed people.
Exactly, just get rid
And
of it.
he's an idiot. He's
So
proven
they can't
that.
use it on me.
Some people do. It happens.
Now, all this commotion now has drawn the attention of the rest of the crew, who were on deck performing their morning duties and things. And they approach to see what is going on. When the three men notice the approaching crew, they seem surprised. The crew, they're not showing any
casual.
hostility. There's no weapons drawn. They're just going, "Hi." They're sort of giving like a salute to their sort of superiors type thing, like a nod of the head. Okay, this is the calmest, the most polite mutiny in
Hello.
history.
Awfully sorry.
Awfully sorry to inconvenience you.
Would you mind dying?
Would you mind jumping on this axe?
Repeatedly.
Yes. Now, Jonathan sort of goes, okay, there's obviously no mutiny going on here. He knows these crew there. They're all really concerned about what's going on, and he informs them that the captain is dead. His wife is dead. August is dead. And the crew are absolutely horrified, totally shocked by what they're being told, and they refuse to believe it. "No, such funny morning japes we're all having. Ha 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 ha.
Good Lord.
What a good laugh." Until they insist, "No, come and have a fucking look." So all the crew all traipse down into the salon. Captain Nash dead on the floor, his wife dead in bed, August dead on the floor. They're all fucking dead.
I do like the fact that they were probably convinced of going, they're dead. No, they're not.
Nah.
You know what? Fine. Come, puppeting their heads going, do you think they're bloody dead, do you?
Okay, yes, they are indeed dead. Thomas continues his slightly odd behaviour. This time he starts circling the room and shaking each man's hand in turn. He goes from man to man, and he thanks them for their support in the great responsibility that has now been laid on his shoulders. As first mate, he has now had to assume the responsibility of command and things, and he's going around thanking them, saying, "Thank you for your support in this."
But you're not a politician, mate. Sorry. Thank you for your votes. Thank you. Like, whoa.
Yeah, and everyone else is going, "All right, captain's dead, fine."
I will lead this country. I don't...
He then, his first new actor, sort of captain.
His new actor?
Well,
What?
So his first actor is this new captain.
No, that's what I mean. He
Yeah,
was like, it's my first act.
He then turns to Lester, the passenger, and asks that he give the crew each cigars. This is from Lester's personal private cigar. He says, "No, we need to do a round of cigars for the crew." And Lester sort of slightly begrudgingly goes, "Yeah, all right." And he hands out his own cigars to the crew, going, "Thank
Opens
you
up
for
the
your
humidor
support."
and goes, give them all cigars. This is a
them all.
cause for celebration.
And the crew go, "All right, cheers, mate." So put it in.
I'll sell
Put
that.
it in their pocket, exactly. Now, Thomas addresses the crew and he asks them to just put this whole nasty murder business behind you. Let's just move on from this. Just carry on with our journey to Argentina. We've got timber to sell. Let's just forget this happened and crack on to Argentina. He also instructs that the three bodies, throw them overboard.
Whoa.
We'll conduct a nice funeral service, but 3 bodies overboard. They're starting to smell out the place, and let's just hose down. Let's give these grooms a real good scrubbing. Let's give everything
Okay.
a real good scrubbing down. Now,
So all these people are standing there with cigars, with there's blood everywhere, with a few corpses going, well, I think the thing is to raise this crime scene to the ground completely.
Yeah, now-
Who's with me, boys?
thankfully,
Crickets,
Jonathan Spencer,
crickets.
so the steward, goes, I don't think so. No, he says, I don't think that's the best thing to do, Captain. I think Captain. We need to preserve this, and we need to let the authorities know what's happened.
Yes.
And we need to keep these bodies. So everyone's like, yeah, absolutely.
We completely. Again, we will reiterate, if anyone wasn't remembering, this isn't the 1600s.
Yeah. So,
There's fucking evidence.
so they're like, so Thomas is like, okay, fine. So what they end up doing is they end up taking the 3 corpses, wrapping them in canvas, and putting them in the ship's boat, which they then lower and tow behind them.
Good.
To get away from the smell of decay and such.
It's not that bad.
Well, you're going through the Caribbean. You're it's warm and toasty, and you've got 3 dead people. That we don't get any of that nasty decay smell and death and what have you. This is okay. This is a good thing. This is a good thing indeed. They also decide, why are we going to Argentina? Why are we continuing
Nearest port.
this trip to Argentina? Yeah, why are we going to the nearest port? Why aren't we going back to Boston? What's going on? Because we still got best part of 6,000 miles to go.
Yes.
To get to Argentina. So let's turn around. Let's get back. And he says, okay, fine, but we're not going to Boston. We'll go to Halifax. We'll go to Nova Scotia.
Nope. What?
So it's not that much further north than Boston.
Why are we going to Nova Scotia?
But why? But why?
Just go to Boston.
Okay, fine. It's closest. It's a port. Fine. Let's just go there. Let's just go there. So they agree. They turn around and they start sailing north. Mm-hmm. Life on board sort of regains a vague sense of normality. Everyone has their duties to attend to. They're on this sailing ship. Everyone's got things they have to do to keep this boat going.
Yeah.
So people they
tasks.
concentrate on their task in hand. This is what we've got to do for all of us to get back safely and in one piece. So that's what they do. They focus on the task in hand of sailing this ship. I mean, they've lost their best navigator, the captain. So they're going on a bit of a wing and a prayer that we try and keep America on our left. We should be okay. Don't turn right because that's the Atlantic. That's scary.
It's like that John Lennon quote, isn't it? Like, how do you find America? Turn left at Greenland.
Yes. So that's how they're navigating currently. They are getting on with things, but they are also living with this horrid sort of realization that there is a murderer among them. Someone here has murdered 3 people.
That is tense.
Someone who people considered a friend and a colleague and a crewmate that you're meant to trust with your life and things, and someone's killed 3 of them. So that is going to be an overarching sense of fuck. one would imagine.
if you could have the speech bubbles above their head, they'd all be going fuck. Thomas going.
It is a fragile normality, and everyone is suspicious of the chap in the bunk next to them.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's no, it's all right. I'll stay on watch for 3 days. It's fine. So it's quite amazing. This mistrust doesn't really spill over into violence and stuff. But thankfully, they keep it together until eventually suspicion falls on one individual. So Justice Leopold Westerberg, so better known as Charlie Brown. The Swede, dear old Charlie Brown. Now, he had been the helmsman on the night of the murder. Mm-hmm. He had been on duty at the wheel. He had subsequently been promoted to first mate by the new Captain Thomas.
Interesting.
Ordinarily, Charlie was an outgoing, jolly, happy man. He always has had a story to tell. He had a tale, an anecdote of this, and he was, life and soul of the party. But since the murders, he had become moody, preoccupied, distracted, constantly on the sort of the defensive. One crew member also noted, and they went to Captain Thomas and said Charlie had changed his clothes the morning after the murder. Whereas a change of clothes would not have been a normal thing in the morning. You don't get up and put a new set of clothes on when you're at sea.
Not really.
You have limited wardrobe options.
My day gown,
on a boat. So it's something to be noted that he's got an entirely new outfit. So it's
interesting.
So in the minds of some crew members, Charlie, well, obviously he must have slipped away while he was on duty, murdered the captain, his wife, got covered in blood, absolutely soaked in blood, had to get rid of his old clothes, throw them overboard, and then arrive on the next shift in a fresh outfit, a fresh set of clothes. The only possible explanation is that he had killed 3 people that night. Case closed. That was it. Captain Bram says, yes, absolutely, that must have been it. He orders Charlie manacled and guarded. Constant guard day and night.
Okay.
Now, others on the ship go, no. Charlie would not have done that.
No.
He is a nice, happy, friendly man. He is not bloody killing anyone.
And if he's subdued, it's probably because it's been traumatizing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's been a hell of a traumatic thing.
It's very sad.
And so these sort of less convinced crew, they visit Charlie.
Yeah.
And they go and try and cheer him up and say, no, we'll get you out of this. This is not right. We know you didn't do this. And 5 days after the murder, Charlie reveals to one of these crew members that he knows who the murderer is.
No.
He knew who it was. He had seen them from his place on deck that night, from where he was on duty. He had seen the murder.
Was it?
He had seen through the window into the chart room. He had seen someone with an axe.
Right.
So, and this
he reveals this 5 days after.
5 days after the murder. So since he's been manacled, this secret that he had been keeping had been eating away at him, sort of explaining his sort of melancholy. He tells that in the early hours of the 14th, so he had been on duty, and he suddenly heard strange sounds coming from the direction of the chart room. He craned his neck round to try and peer through the window and get a view, and he could see a man leaning over Captain Nash's bunk. He didn't see the captain himself, he just saw this figure leaning over, and then the axe came out and these blows started raining down. The man he saw was First Mate, now Captain Thomas Bram. Now, Charlie said he saw Thomas leave the chart room and move out of sight. A few minutes passed and he heard a woman scream. Minutes later, Thomas Bram appeared on deck. He then dropped something amongst the cargo, he says, and then stood there facing out to sea with his back to the stairwell. He then heard Lester call out that the captain had been murdered. Thomas went downstairs again. Now, Charlie was still at the helm, he said, when he watched Lester and Thomas have their spat and sit down there, pistols back to back, waiting for the door to arrive. Charlie was watching all of this from his position at the helm, going, that's a bit weird. But he said nothing. He said he hadn't said anything until now because he was convinced that he would not be believed. It was his word against that of a superior officer. Why would anyone believe a lowly Swedish crewman over a first mate? This, he said he was going to wait till they reached port and then he would go to the authorities and say, well, this is what I saw. This is what he saw. Because who was he going to go to on the ship to say, I had killed the first mate, I saw the first mate kill the captain, when the personal authority is the first mate who killed the captain.
Yeah, and also the first mate has just murdered 3 people with an axe. You're going to be next in line. You fall asleep or you're taken aside, maybe you're killed, and then, you'd be terrified.
Yeah, so exactly. That's exactly what he said. So that's why he didn't say anything. And he has been eating away at him all this time.
Yeah.
Now, the crew member that Charlie tells his story to, straight away goes down to Jonathan Spencer, steward, and Lester, and says, right, Charlie's just told me this.
Yeah.
Now, Jonathan and Lester, they've struck up quite a friendship over this period. It's been incredibly stressful, but they both sort of have this sort of... they've come from incredibly different backgrounds, but they both got this sort of respect for each other. And
is it a budding romance?
Exactly, it's a budding romance. This sort of hardened seaman and the sort of this,
I mean, after a while,
and this young sort of Bostonian student. And it's a delight. But they come to
study
really
over charts, and suddenly their hair, like his hair, sort of falls over his eye, and the other one brushes it aside and goes, "We'll get through this together."
Yeah,
and they kiss.
It was much like that.
Yay. This is what this story was lacking, was some queer romance.
The crew member tells the pair about what Charlie has said, the tale that Charlie had given. They reflect on Thomas's odd behaviour, his outright lies for some of it, his efforts to get rid of the bodies so soon, his desire to pretty much carry on as if nothing had happened.
Flinging the murder weapon over the side.
And his attempts to sort of curry favour with the crew with the cigars and things. And Lester and Jonathan decide, okay, we can't take any chances here, and they decide to arrest Thomas.
Good.
So the two of them approach Thomas and, clap him in irons. Thomas protests violently, but then he realises the entire crew are on their side.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine.
Mate, pipe down.
He pipes down. He has no choice but to submit to this. A few days later, the Herbert Fuller sails into the harbour of Halifax, towing its now rather pungent cargo in a boat. The authorities are immediately alerted, and no one is allowed off the boat until they have been spoken to and interviewed in great detail. And each crew member is spoken about what happened on board. Now, unsurprisingly, there are somewhat conflicting accounts between Charlie and Thomas about what happened with the murder, both pointing the finger at each other. About who was guilty. Now, one of these men is going to be tried for murder.
Yeah.
But which one? which one is it going to be? Based on the reports of the other crew members, it is decided that Thomas Baum is the most likely suspect, and he is charged with murder on the high seas.
Murder on the high seas.
Now, since these murders had been committed in international waters, and the Herbert Fuller was a Bostonian registered boat, they had to be transported back to Boston. The trial had to take place in Boston.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, it's cherry remnants.
you munch
I'm
upon...
literally eating this with my hand. It's delicious.
You munch on your cherry there.
Whoa, mate.
Didn't think that all through.
Nope, didn't. Nope.
The trial begins in October of 1896. And the accounts of Jonathan Spencer and Lester Monks are going to be a crucial sort of part of the prosecution's case. But it all hinges on Charlie Brown as star witness of what he has seen. So the defence make it their absolute mission to discredit this man. We need to completely pull him to pieces to get our chap off. In all their statements, they portray Charlie as a compulsive liar. He cannot be trusted. However, anyone who knows him flocks to try and give character statements for Charlie.
Good for him.
And say no. Yeah, I mean, they say yes. My God, Charlie can spin a yarn. He can tell.
He's a storyteller.
He can tell a story. He is they say he's a born entertainer. His stories and exploits are full of romantic entanglements in every port. He's fought pirates and survived shipwrecks and fought off sea monsters and saved hundreds of fellow crew and things like that.
He's writing a series of spicy novels.
Exactly. I mean,
but he's an honest man with it.
Everyone knows that those tales are nonsense. And when it comes to things that matter, he is as straight as the day is long. I think he is as honest as they come. And when he takes the stand, he is open, he is polite, he is charming. He survives the defence trying to rip him to pieces.
Good for him.
And he doesn't get angry, he doesn't get frustrated.
Ooh, well done,
at all.
well done.
So well done him. He said his reasons for not coming forward straight away, that he thought he would be next if he did.
3 people.
Who would believe him over a superior officer? How could he accuse a superior officer of this? And the jury seemed to accept that. Well, that's reasonable as to why he didn't.
You don't know who else is in on it.
Yeah, the defence claimed that he is simply trying to deflect blame away from himself by pointing it at the finger at anyone else. But no, the jury seemed to go...
Yeah, that's pretty standard, isn't it? Though?
Go sort of, no, this seems reasonable. So things are starting to look a bit grim for Thomas Bram. But the defence has another sleeve up its sleeve. The defence has another...
Sorry, wait a minute. How many sleeves does the defence have?
The defence has many sleeves.
The defence has 2 sleeves, and then went, but I have a 3rd sleeve.
The defence is actually a crowd with 8 sleeves.
And they all have aces.
There is a report from the American consul in Rotterdam.
Right.
And this is read out in court. And it gives detail of a rather unexpected side to Charlie Brown. Apparently, several years prior to this incident, he was on a train going from Antwerp to Rotterdam. And on this journey, Charlie had started showing symptoms of extreme paranoia. He had arrived in Rotterdam, he had got to his lodging house and immediately rushed to his room, shut the door and hid under a pile of blankets. Apparently absolutely terrified of something. No one knows what. He wakes the next day in hospital.
Blech.
No recollection of what had happened, how he had got there. He learned that during the night, another guest had walked into the wrong room. He walked into Charlie's room just by mistake. He had found Charlie wide awake, staring at the door with his revolver drawn, pointed at the door. As soon as this other chap had entered the room, Charlie had fired.
Whoa.
Thankfully, had missed.
Yeah.
But the gunshot caused everyone else in the house to rush down, and before Charlie had a chance to fire again, they had sort of all tackled in and subdued him and got the gun away.
Okay.
And they had managed to call the authorities.
Yeah.
And so he had woken the next day in hospital, and he had no memory of this incident whatsoever.
Shit.
Absolutely no recollection of any of it happening.
So they're going to use this against him.
So the defence take this instance, and they claim that, Charlie, he might ordinarily be the loveliest, most calm, most pleasant, most jolly man, but he has moments. He has had this incident, and he has no recollection. He tried to kill a man before, and he has no memory of it. What's to say this didn't happen again? What's to say the same thing hasn't happened now? Something happened. Something flipped. He killed 3 people, and he has no memory of it.
Oh, fuck.
How
did he have a pot brownie on the way? So, just one of those or something like, have a toke of this, and then 2 days were gone.
So he'd done it before. Why couldn't he do it again? Now the prosecution have a hard time trying to refute this new accusation, sort of thing. I mean, how can they disprove this hadn't happened, no matter how unlikely?
Yes.
I mean, and the defence argue that, well, if Charlie was on trial, the prosecution would be taking this as evidence as precedent, and so there's no way you can now turn around and dismiss it as hearsay and nonsense, and the prosecution is forced to go, shit. Okay.
Star witness.
Our star witness is now somewhat screwed. And then Thomas himself enters the witness box.
Okay.
And he comes across as incredibly sincere. He has apparently a reasonable answer to every question that the prosecution throw at him. He blames his odd behaviour on the night of the murders on the fact that he had just discovered his friends had been murdered. He was in shock. He was absolutely terrified. He claimed to have no memory of vomiting on the deck or begging Lester to save his life or claiming that August had poisoned him or saying he has no memory of any of this. It was all through shock. And yes, he realised that throwing the axe overboard was a stupid thing to do. But shock. He was absolutely terrified for his life. So he was frightened. Only once in his performance did things slightly falter, when the prosecution brought up an interview that he had with a Halifax detective. The detective had put Charlie's claim that he had seen Thomas commit the murder through the window. Thomas replies, he couldn't have seen me. Where was he? At the wheel, says the detective. Well, he certainly couldn't have seen me from there.
What? Oh.
And then now again the prosecution they jump on this little point and go, and they try and use it as almost as like a confession to say, but again the defence come in and go, it was a turn of phrase. You cannot prove what his intention was on that. So you're reaching. So the defence, they think they're in a pretty strong position. On the 2nd of January 1897, the jury returned from their deliberations and they deliver a verdict. Thomas Bram was guilty of murder.
Oh!
His counsel immediately appeals this verdict.
Of course.
They argue that the interviews in Halifax, they have no official weight. They are nothing more than hearsay, than conversation. And the Supreme Court agrees. And they order a retrial.
Okay.
Thomas is found guilty again.
Yay!
But this time the jury add a caveat that he is guilty, but they cannot countenance capital punishment. He is not to be sentenced to death. Now, this perhaps gives away some of the jury's reticence about, is he really guilty?
It's a very muddy case.
So is he sure? So Thomas Bram, he is sentenced to life imprisonment.
Okay.
He serves 15 years before being released in 1912. Now, so despite his conviction, there is widespread uncertainty about his guilt.
Yeah.
No one believed that Charlie Brown had murdered his captain and things, but they were not entirely convinced that Thomas Bram did. So much so that in 1919, President Woodrow Wilson was sufficiently in doubt that he ordered Thomas's guilty verdict quashed.
Okay.
He is granted a pardon.
Fine.
This never happened, and he is able to resume his career as a sailor, and eventually he becomes captain of his own ship. He continues to deny the murders until his death in 1948. No one else was ever tried for the murders of Charles Nash, Laura Nash, and August Blamberg, and their deaths remain officially unsolved. It's the Herbert Fuller murders.
Oh, that is a great story, Nick. It's so good.
So good.
Is this a film or a book or a series of books and films?
It should be.
There was a point I was started to write the script in my head, like we could write it. What the fuck happened there?
Yeah, I'm convinced it probably was Thomas.
Yes. Okay. I am too. I think it's Thomas. I can understand the behaviour. So let's play. Play devil's advocate.
You're absolutely right. It is all explainable away.
Yeah, it's explicable. Kind of like if we're playing devil's advocate, what you said about Thomas is that he was a blustering fool. That he was sitting and talking about a lot of stuff and was over the top, maybe more emotive than he needed to be. So when he found out about these murders, if he acted like a blubbering fool, I could well believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on the limited, information that we've been given. Also, the idea that this is the weapon, let's get rid of it, otherwise they'll come for us, is an instinct, is a reaction. Yeah. It's kind of stupid. It is stupid.
It is stupid.
But then we don't know in our situation how you would act. Because if you're standing there going like, someone has just killed 3 people.
And if you're convinced that the people who are responsible for that are going to come after you next.
You're going to get rid of every weapon possible.
Yeah.
If you find a gun, you're going to be like, do we keep this and use it ourselves? Maybe you might think that going, well, what if I don't know how to use it? Throw it away. The weird thing about like overnight as well with Lester saying like we need to sit back to back and like have our guns out. That seems very calculated and stupid at the same time.
Well, that seems to be more Thomas.
Yeah.
When he and Lester were on deck.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
To try and. Now, was it all like a huge calculated bluff to to try and convince Lester that yes, this mutiny was in fact in operation?
If Thomas is staggering around, that's what I mean. Is if he's saying like if he's drunk and he's vomiting and then he sits back to back with him, it's quite a convincing con. It's a brilliant con to go. No, I'm a drunken idiot and I'm scared and I'm upset and everything after I've just killed 3 people.
The reports I read are very much focused on sort of because the Lester Monks he did go on, and because he was vaguely notable in society, he was the one who gave all the police reports and all the sort of the reports to the papers, and so it's his version of events that is the one that's out there. Yeah. So no doubt is very much biased. There's little known really about what the other crew were doing and things. So it's all very much from sort of like his point of view, because his one was the one that was reported, being someone of means.
Well, unless Lester did it.
I mean, people have suggested that, but then what on earth would his motive have been?
Well,
he was.
If it was Jessica Fletcher, if it was any of the other big ones, it would be him.
Some people. There were some reports that say that he was having it off with dear old Laura, that he was having an affair with the captain's wife, or something. So, but then,
why would he kill her?
Why would he kill her? Or
it does seem like captain dead, wife dead. Second mate killed,
interrupted something,
the kind of stoic
something.
Quiet someone's seen something. To kill 3 people is going to absolutely terrify everyone on that ship.
Did Lester only survive because he had locked his door that night because of the rattling? He locked his door because of the weather. If he hadn't done that, would he have died? Would someone come in and have axed him?
Why would they axe him though? He's a passenger.
Who knows?
Why did they axe
anyone?
Well, why did Thomas do it? That's the point. It's like if all of this, why did Thomas do it?
There are some people who think that if it was Thomas, did he do it so he could take control of the ship?
That's a bit far, though, isn't it?
That he could have then sailed the ship to Argentina and sold the cargo, pocketed the money, taken the ship, done whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, could have kept the money. Kept the money. Was it his ship? Was it the captain's ship?
It was the captain. He owned part of it. I'm sure he had investors.
So
he
could pocket the money.
So, Thomas would be the one who would arrive with this cargo. So he would be the one.
So kill the captain, kill the wife, so she won't inherit.
Yep.
Second mate walks in and kill him.
Now
well, walks in. He's in his room.
Yeah.
Or just kill him. He's
heard a
can't
scream.
trust him. Can't trust him. Yeah.
So can't trust him. Now I'm in charge. The crew will do what I say.
Yeah.
It's this annoying fucking passenger, but I tried to do him, but he locked his door. Otherwise, the ship will be mine.
Yeah.
And I can go and
It does seem pretty cut and dried with him.
So, but then if it was, I mean, it's a huge level of bluffing and random blubbering and stuff, which all seems to be just like diversionary things. And
it does, but committing a murder seems good on paper, as we have discussed.
Well, that's very true.
Many times.
He did all this, and then
suddenly when you do it, you go,
real.
oh,
what the fuck have I done?
Yeah, absolutely panicking, and then suddenly probably thinking on your feet and trying to do. It worked. He got off, and then Wilson pardoned him. That's a bit of a stretch. Like, why? Oh, it's a good story, Nick. It's a good story.
It deserves to be an excellent film.
Oh, it does. Well, what do you think?
I shall play Captain Nash.
Oh, you can play. Do you want to be murdered?
Well, I don't know. It'd be a nice little bit part.
It would be, but you have to have a wife. Who's your wife? Is it going to be me?
Do you
isn't
want me?
No, I want to be. I don't know.
Different cabins.
No, I'm not saying that. I want to be someone else. I want to be. I don't know, I'll be the person in the crow's nest yelling. Another bit part, but vital.
Well, you can be the ship's cat.
I definitely would do that. Meow. I've seen so much. Well, what do you think, people? What do you think of the story of what's the name of the ship again?
The Herbert Fuller.
The Herbert Fuller mystery. What a tale. Do you think this was a cut and dried case that Thomas was guilty? Do you think it was Charlie Brown, different name obviously from his native country? Do you think it was him? Do you think it was Lester?
Was it Lester?
Do you think it was Lester? Do you think it was suicide gone wrong?
Was it someone who rowed up to the boat,
Was it?
got on board, murdered them, rowed off again?
Was someone hiding on the ship?
Someone hiding in a barrel.
Someone was hiding in the barrel and killed them. Or why?
Disguised
as timber. Was it a piece of wood? Was it a big old piece of... Was it the ship's parrot? Was it because, again, they had parrots on the ship? Tell us what you think. Jump on the comments of this episode. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your theories. But most importantly, while you muse this, you must mix up L'Ancien de Bois. The woody
old-fashioned.
The woody old-fashioned.
Went down a treat.
Oh my God, it's delicious.
Very good.
That was very good. That was really tasty.
Get some maraschino cherries, give them a smash, chuck some cognac. Bloody marvellous.
And walnut.
But the actual recipe will be out on Friday. So you can follow it properly. But yes, it's a damn tasty drink.
It is a very tasty drink. We'll maybe have 9 more.
I think we should.
But because we're going to be discussing this case for a while. That is the stuff of great films and books, I feel. So tell us what you think of this one. Share your theories. Share your own videos of them. Tag us. If you're on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, please do share videos and tag us in it, sharing your theories, sharing the story, and tell people where you heard it from. If you're on social media, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook. Tag us in your stories. Share the cocktails that you are enjoying over the weekend or over your lives in general. And do consider supporting us on patreon.com/The Poisoner's Cabinet. Thanks for listening, guys. We have been the people inside The Poisoner's Cabinet. We will see you next week. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.